welcome to the NDTV Auto Show, your ultimate guide to auto world. We will get you exciting stories, reviews, news and your queries answered on this show. It's the EV showdown. Hyundai Ioniq 5, Kia EV6 or Volvo C40. Which one is the better premium EV SUV? BMW R1300 GS ridden in Ladakh. Aston Martin DB12 sizzles on Delhi roads. Bigos RUV 350 electric scooter walk around. You are in the market to buy an SUV, but you are also somebody who's environmentally conscious. Then EV SUV is the answer for you. But which one should you pick? Well, Mohit Bharadwaj has the answer. He compares Hyundai Ioniq 5, Kia EV6 and Volvo C40 to figure out which one is the best.
In comparison to ICE vehicles, BEVs are a different game altogether. Well, when we talk of mass market brands like Hyundai and Kia, they are ruling the ICE segment. But that's not the same case you would see when we talk about battery electric vehicles. That's where they get to face off a luxury brand like the Volvo. And that's why in the scorching heat of Delhi, we have a very hot comparison for you guys that involves the Hyundai Ioniq 5, Kia EV6 and the Volvo C40 Recharge. We have some exciting tests lined up for these electric cars. EVs, they're all about torque. With torque comes in quick acceleration run, and that's what our first test is. 0 to 100 kmph speed runs is what we'll do with the C40 Recharge, the Ioniq 5 and the EV6. Now, since we are in this car, I'll give you a brief about this one. Well, it comes through the CKD route to the Indian market and gets a powerful electric motor and battery setup with an ARAI range of roughly 530 kilometers. Power figures, 410 horses and roughly 660 Newton meters is what you get, and the claimed 0 to 100 figure stands at 4.7 seconds. Now this is a very flush but a slightly plain looking cabin. This touchscreen might look archaic, but I like it. After all, it is simple, no nonsense stuff and is powered by Google. Now one thing that Volvo could have done better is giving a curtain for this electric moonroof. In hot and humid temperatures like here in Delhi, it is just baking us up. But which one is the quickest of the lot? Well, results are on your screen. EVs are supposed to be fast, but they are also supposed to be silent, and that's what we are going to find out in this test number 2. Right now we are sitting in the EV6 and we'll start off from this car. Why? Well, it is the only car in this trio that gets the EV banner in its nameplate. Now we're going to use a third-party app to find out which car is the most silent of all. Now we are doing this test in the same environment and identical AC settings for all cars. Now talking of EV6, it uses a skateboard architecture, so what you get is a battery pack underneath your floor and 2 motors, one on the front, one on the rear, giving you an all-wheel drive layout. This car is certainly fast and it certainly seems silent. We are on our final test with the final car, the Ioniq 5. And why do I have a cup in my hand? Well, we are gonna fill it with water to test which car spills the least amount of water on a road like this that's not paved at all. The Volvo wins this test as well with the least amount of water spillage, also signifying that a stiff ride on tarmac doesn't always equate to a bad ride on jolty roads. But I have to tell you something about Ioniq 5 that I really like. The first and foremost is the price. It only starts at rupees 46 lakh, making it the most affordable car in this whole trio. And also it gets a long claimed ARAI range, making the Ioniq 5 hugely desirable. Also it is super comfortable. The seats, they can be reclined, you get under thigh support in ample. This cabin is done in white and these screens, they are crisp. Is there anything to complain about in this Ioniq 5? I really don't find anything of that order other than its dull performance and slightly subjective and opinionated styling. With these results at our disposal, I can tell you that it is the C40 Recharge that is the fastest to the 100 kmph mark between these three cars. It is also the most silent, and when we talk of water test, the lesser displacement of water was observed in the C40 Recharge. Well, that was largely because of its stiff suspension setup, therefore lesser moments in the body. But when we consider price, the C40 Recharge is priced at roughly rupees 63 lakh, whereas the EV6, it goes up to rupees 67 lakh for this all-wheel drive trim. Now the most affordable baby on this comparison is the Ioniq 5 with an ex-showroom price of roughly rupees 46 lakh. And therefore my mind says that it is the Ioniq 5 that wins the tag of best EV in this trio. But my heart, it still goes out for the Volvo, for the kind of performance it offers, for the kind of safety it offers, and of course the design. What do you guys think of these SUVs? Let us know in the comments below.
Up next is BMW's R1300 GS, which Dhruv Atri rode in Ladakh.
If going through not just countries but continents on nothing more than just two wheels is your thing, then you need to pay attention. We have the BMW Motorrad's most powerful off-road machine. This is the R1300 GS. I'm here to tell you all about it. Welcome to NDTV Auto. This motorcycle is a lot more compact and less intimidating than the R1250 GS, the motorcycle whose successor this motorcycle is, and it's at least 12 kgs lighter. That means it tips the scales at 237 kgs.
The R1300 GS is smaller, lighter, narrower, but more technologically advanced version of its old self. It does away with the asymmetrical front look and gets new matrix LED headlights which have cornering function as well. And that electrically adjustable windshield offers multiple adjustments to protect riders of all shapes and sizes from the wind.
Now the engine is more powerful than before. It's a 1300cc engine, replaces the 1250 engine. It's still a boxer twin, more power, more torque, and before we get to riding, I'll show you how it sounds, so let's crank it up.
0 to 100 km is a supercar rivaling 3.4 seconds, so this motorcycle is rapid. And the engine is so tractable that you can be at 20 km per hour in 4th gear and the GS will pull smoothly without a fuss.
Now this boxer twin setup of this motorcycle provides it with a low center of gravity, and that gives it an easy to ride nature.
The clutch lever is easy to operate and the bi-directional quick shifter is par for the course too. Technologies like a tele-lever for the front and para-lever for rear suspension give it a supple and customizable ride even on the worst roads. On corners, the 1300 GS feels like a bike that's half of its weight and size.
You get a lot of proper off-roading technology in this motorcycle. You get adaptive suspension in this motorcycle, so once you change the riding modes, your suspension setting also changes.
This adaptive suspension also allows seat height to drop by 30 mm to 820 mm. In terms of features, it's loaded with a 6.5-inch screen, heated grips, keyless ride, storage compartment, 4 riding modes, and optional extras like ADAS and a GPS device. But the 1300 GS is a proper evolution. It is a lot more inviting, slightly more forgiving, and offers a lot more rewarding riding experience once you learn to live with it.
We slip into a short break, but you don't go anywhere, because after the break, I get you the review of absolutely beautiful Aston Martin DB12. Good to see you after the break. I got a chance to drive Aston Martin DB12, a car that looks like a beauty, drives like a beast. The name is Mishra, Mugdha Mishra. Well, I know it doesn't have the same ring to it, but the car I am with today made me do it, and that's Aston Martin DB12. And it looks smashing in this storm purple color. The front of the DB12 is dominated by Aston Martin's signature 6-vane grille, which is larger and more pronounced, giving the car a bold and assertive look. The sleek, narrow LED headlights add to its fierce stance. The hood features prominent lines that direct the eye towards the Aston Martin's logo in the center. The XL size hood, short overhangs, and swept back windshield contribute to a classic Grand Tourer silhouette. You get 21-inch forged alloy wheels with 275 by 35 profile at the front and massive 325 by 30 profile at the rear. These Michelin tires have been manufactured specially for Aston Martin. It's hard to miss every DB signature, the side stake above the front wheel. The side view mirror turns with the housing, reminding me of our favorite extraterrestrial ET. Talking of movies, you are sure to get movie star-like celebrity feeling every time you step out from the swan wing opening of the frameless doors. But it is not all just style. The roofline slopes gently and flows seamlessly into the rear for better aerodynamics. The rear of the DB12 is equally captivating. The car is substantially wider at the rear, and the rear wheels get wider track. The slim horizontally oriented taillights emphasize the car's width. A subtle lip spoiler is integrated into the trunk lid. Now let's step inside. Once you step inside this DB12, you are greeted by opulence. There's leather all around. Everything looks quite premium. Look at these seats. These are Sports Plus seat, very well designed, and they look also very good and just perfect for your long drives. You don't get a sunroof here, and I really appreciated that on a day like today, which was excruciatingly hot. And no matter what, when you have a sunroof, the heat does filter through. What you get instead is absolutely beautiful. This leather wrap roof with this intricate detailing here of diamond pattern. You find that diamond pattern on the seat and here on the center armrest and on the door pads too. It's straight line, simple, and the way they have given the buttons for all the functions, it's so much more easier to manage with buttons, physical buttons here. You do need to use some of the features through the touchscreen, which is a 10.25 touchscreen. I think for a car this size, this touchscreen is a little too thin. It's big, but it's not wide enough, and the fonts are rather small. The 10.25 digital display right in front of you also has small fonts, but still you can read this a little bit more easily because it's right in front of you, whereas the touch screen, because you have to take your eye off and then to concentrate and figure out, is a little bit of a task, especially when you are on the move. You get your start stop button right here. It looks very nice, and this knob is how you choose your drive modes as well. For gear select, unlike the other Aston Martins, you get a small lever here and it's quite easy to use. I love the design of the steering. It's good to hold. You get your steering mounted controls, flat bottom steering, looks sporty and well suited for this car. And you get these quite long paddle shifters, making it easy to use them. Aston Martin has made sure that DB12 is packed with features. On paper, DB12 is a 4-seater, and in all honesty, I did try to go sit there and give you an update, but there is just not enough space for me to fit there myself comfortably. Going in is quite difficult. You have to just push the seat forward and then go in, and it doesn't move too much, so you have very little space to enter. And then once you're seated there, there's not much space. I think the second row is best suited for young kids. It's time to take this beauty on the road. Aston Martin DB12. The name would give you a hint that this gets the V12 engine, the famous Aston Martin V12 engine, but actually it gets the Mercedes-sourced 4-litre V8 engine. This engine produces 680 HP power, 800 Nm torque, and does 0 to 100 in claimed 3.6 seconds. The engine is quite refined and performs extremely well. There's always power available to you whenever you need it. The most exciting, exhilarating part of DB12's drive is the noise it makes. It is absolutely beautiful music to the ears. This one gets 8-speed torque converter rear-mounted gearbox. This ZF's 8-speed gearbox offers smooth gear shifts, but it is not quick, and that character doesn't change much even in Sports Plus mode. DB12 is a Grand Tourer, and the performance has been calibrated to meet that requirement. The power comes in linearly, unlike in some of the AMGs where the power delivery is a lot more punchy. When you are behind the wheels, you will really appreciate the comfort drive that it gives. It gets 21-inch wheels, and yet it absorbs the shocks and bumps of the road pretty well. Of course, you will notice all the rough edges. That's because of the size of the wheel, but the suspension does the job really well. For a car this size, DB12 handles well, but only if you handle it gently. The steering response is great and you feel connected with the wheels, but push it harder into a corner and you run the risk of rear end slipping out, which is when the responsive steering comes in handy. This is a Grand Tourer and stays true to that definition. The sheer size of the car means that you have to move it gingerly in crowded spaces, and a barely there ground clearance of 120 mm means you approach every pothole and speed breaker with utmost caution. Aston Martin DB12 is a masterclass in automotive design. British elegance meets modern performance aesthetics and make a powerful statement on the road. The interiors offer comfort, sophistication, and are high on tech. Performance is true to its character. However, it is low on practicality. Its prices start at Rs 4.6 crore ex-showroom, which is higher than that of Aston Martin's SUV DBX, a much more practical Aston Martin for Indian conditions. But then one look and DB12 is sure to steal your heart. Focus now shifts towards two-wheeler EV. Dhruvatri tells us what's special about recently launched BGOS RUV 350.
The race for electric mobility is heating up in the country, and we have to get a lot of electric vehicles, and to cater to that, BGOS has launched its RUV 350 electric scooter. This scooter is priced from 1.10 lakh rupees to 1.35 lakh rupees ex-showroom. It's available in 3 variants and 5 colors. And what exactly is there to know about it? I'll tell you all about it in this video. So up front, you can see that it gets LED headlamps with LED DRLs, and there's fiber here, but this part is sort of metallic. Then you get telescopic forks up front, and what's unique is that this scooter comes with a 16-inch alloy wheel, and the design is quite nice too. These scooter tires look a little skinny on the scooter, but that's okay. It helps with you navigating the bad roads easily, gives you better ground clearance as well. Then on the side you get this Max variant stickering, because this is the top variant of the scooter. Then the floorboard is decently sized. You get a lot of space to keep your stuff here. Then you get apron to store here your stuff, and you get a charging port up front. You get a 5-inch screen. This screen can be navigated through these buttons. These are the buttons. The screen seems to be malfunctioning right now. You can't see all the menus up front, but It gets a lot of features. You get geofencing and a lot of other features. Apart from that, there's a big seat and it gets contrast stitching. It's around 15 liters of space here, and they have shown how it can hold a half face helmet easily. Then there's the charging port placed here, and it locks in with the seat, so your charger cannot be stolen if you leave it unattended. Apart from that, the claimed range is 145, although the real world range is 120 kilometers according to the company. Then there's 75 kilometers of top speed, which is more than enough for a scooter of this stature. Now those were the details of the BGAUZ RUV 350. Now let's hear it from the top management itself. We'll be in a quick chat with Hemant Kabra, MD of BGAUZ India. So what is the presence of brand BGAUZ in India, and what is the after sales system like?
See, we are an evolving company. It's been 4 years we started this business. Last year, we launched a family scooter product that is called C12, and it has been successfully and well accepted into the market. And we're currently into the West and South, and we'll be soon going pan-India. I think we'll start building a brand eventually. It's a process, and we'll start eventually building that.
Is there a timeline for the expansion?
I think we just launched a product. We have enough capacity. We are working very closely on supply chain. We should be able to do good numbers now.
And your manufacturing facility is based out of which?
Our manufacturing facility is based out of Pune, Chakan.
So what sets your product apart in terms of ethos from other scooters in the segment?
I think it's a very different category altogether, very different product, unique product. It has a 16-inch wheel with a helmet going inside the seat. Second is a metal body. Right. And it's a power pack performance, so you can go any variant and ride the product. And it has long suspension as well, which makes you comfortable riding. And the chassis is designed in such a way, your cornering and your turning becomes very smooth.
Okay. So we have seen cases of thermal runaway in electric scooters in the past. So how does your scooter tackle that?
I think we all are now approved at AIS 156 phase 2, and which is very safe. And we also have LFP chemistry, which is also very safe as a chemistry. We have designed our pack, and the BMS is very strong, which takes care of the same.
So what are your sales targets with this scooter?
With this scooter, this financial year, we should target a cumulative sales of our BG is approximately 50,000 vehicles.
Well, that's all from us today, but do subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our social media handles. Thank you for watching. See you next week.